This is the Roaring Riot Podcast, your source for everything in the known universe about the Carolina Panthers. And now, here's Keith, Jayme, and Ashlyn.
It is the last podcast of the 2019 season as we wrap this one up. Hello and Happy New Year to you. I'm Keith, joined by Ashlyn and Jayme. How are you guys?
Hello.
Good.
Great. It's now 2020. The 2019 season is behind us. And I don't know. To me, it felt like the 2018 season just never ended. Does it feel the same way to you guys?
I was about to say you have the wrong year, but no, you're exactly right.
No, it doesn't. That's not how I feel.
Really?
No, to me, it's a redo of 2018.
Well, yeah, like 28. You mean like we're just reliving it over again?
It's a repeat. It's like it's Groundhog Day.
So you're in Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I see that perspective as well. And Ashlyn, you nailed it 2 years in a row, mid-season, saying, I don't think we're going to win another game.
Well, and I hate saying that. It's not like I take pleasure in that realization, but it just, when you see the writing on the wall, you see the writing on the wall.
Yeah. And man, it seemed like the perfect end or the appropriate end to the season, I should say, at the very end when Kyle Allen threw that interception in the end zone. There was no way we were going to win anyway. There was absolutely no way we could have clawed our way back. But it was like, yep, we threw that interception. That's it. Good enough. Goodbye.
It could have been worse. We could be Tampa Bay fans and have Jameis Winston for 30 to end the game. 30 and 30. Because that did happen to end the game.
Well, this is true. All right, we're not going to dwell on it too much. The Saints came to town. They beat our butt. They're going to the playoffs. And I'm happy to report, though, that the Saints didn't get their wild card bye. So they are going to be playing this weekend they are playing against the Vikings, 3rd seed versus 6th seed. And also we'll have the Seahawks and Eagles playing this weekend as well. On the AFC side, it's the Panthers North, the Bills against the Texans, and also the Titans against the Patriots. Another gives me a little bit of joy seeing that they didn't get the first round bye either.
Man, and to lose to Miami at home.
I know.
See, we could be those teams. Like, yes, the Pats are in the playoffs, but they're still a good team, and look what they go through. Like, I get it, but there's a lot of bad situations out there for football fans across all teams this year.
Well, we do need to talk about Christian McCaffrey joining the 1,000 club. Only the third person to do so in a year. 1,000 receiving yards, 1,000 rushing yards.
That's crazy. But I say Ollie helped.
Ollie being your
my son, my baby.
Not my dog, right?
No, not the dog Ollie. My Ollie, not your Ollie. No, it was nice when we got down for player intros. I put his little McCaffrey jersey on him, and Christian came over and rubbed his numbers and said, "What's up, little man?" And then right behind him were Luke and Greg. So that was fun.
Excellent. And that's one of the good things to take out of this is that we got to see it. It's history being made. It has only 2 other players have achieved this, that being Roger Craig in 1985 and Marshall Faulk in 1999. So we're talking 20 years since this has happened. This doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, I can't.
And he passed with Damian Tomlinson. I mean, that's another big name up there that he passed in terms of total yards for a season.
Yeah, I can't believe it that it's only happened 3 times. It just seems like something that you've got these running backs who catch the ball in the backfield and you just get the dump off passes. You get those kind of running backs all the time. And the fact that we haven't seen 1,000 and 1,000, we've only seen it 3 times now. That's amazing. And CMC definitely has the talent to do it again next year. And he's also playing for the kind of team that'll probably do it again next year.
Yeah, he also.
Let's hope not.
Well, right. I don't want him to do it, but it's pretty cool that he did.
Oh yeah, McCaffrey also had his best season of receptions, 116 total receptions this season, which broke his most receptions by a running back number from last year as well. He also had 2,392 scrimmage yards. That is the best in the NFL, and that is the 3rd most in one season in the history of the NFL.
It's got to be crazy to like break records and then even on top of that, break your own records. It's got to be a crazy feeling.
I think he's going to be doing it a lot in his career.
Yeah, I don't see him slowing down anytime soon.
He's only going to get better, especially if he gets an offensive line at some point.
There's been a lot of talk about trading McCaffrey, and every time I read that, I think that whatever you're smoking, I hope it's legal, because I don't understand that philosophy. We've got an incredible talent here in Christian McCaffrey. That is a talent that you build around. That is not one that you try and dangle out there to try and get maybe a cornerback or another wide receiver, or
then build around what?
Yeah, or rent a quarterback for a season or two. Yeah. That's not the thing you do. I just don't know what the thoughts are about what the thought process is behind that.
Yeah, I don't understand people who think we should do that. I mean, some people just want to throw everything out and just start all over from scratch. And the thing is, we've got a few good pieces that we absolutely need to keep and build around. McCaffrey is one of those. Hopefully, Cam will be one of those.
I hope
and if
so.
not, we can look at something like a Joe Burrow.
Now, who is the player that was saying that if Cam Newton is healthy, the Panthers would be insane to let him walk? If he's capable of walking.
Oh, I heard that. I don't know who said
it was an active player.
I think it was Gerald McCoy.
Yeah, it was McCoy.
Yeah, so he's got
McCoy.
He's got a good inside scoop on that. So I'm glad.
And he's got an inside scoop that not just because he's a Panther, I mean, he played against Cam when he was at Tampa Bay and everything. So, that it means a little bit more coming from him.
Exactly, and I do hope that Cam is better and healed, because as we have seen this season, often. I'll admit that we were not right. Will Grier was not the answer. Neither was Kyle Allen. The team is better when Cam is healthy.
Is the verdict in on Will Grier? Do we have enough to make a determination on him?
No, I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
Well, we don't even know if his foot's going to ever heal.
That's true.
Oh, that's true. But I don't think
he did get carted off.
He
wasn't on the back of the cart. He was on the front of the cart, but he left on the cart.
This is true. He had a terrible, terrible game. He can't get any worse than that. But
I think it can. But yeah.
Well,
thank goodness it was the last game of the season. We didn't get to
I mean, he had a 0.0 quarterback rating. I mean, from that standpoint, you can't
go
any worse than that.
All right. Yeah.
And it's I don't. To me, the only thing that I saw from that game was that his perceived ceiling is now lower. I'm not ready to say he's a bust, but he sure does look like a bust of a third round draft pick. How much more of a chance do you give him? That's what I want to know.
I think
training camp.
I think he stays. Yeah, training camp. Yeah.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, he's a third round pick, so there's that investment as well. Hey, I do want to talk about a name that hasn't been mentioned very much this season, and it's also a bit of a mouthful to say, but it's Brandon Zoster. Is that it? Zylstra? There we go.
Cholesterol medicine.
Zylstra? Okay. What's that?
I've been calling him cholesterol medicine all season.
That's a very good. Ask your doctor.
Nice.
Zylstra? Zylstra?
Yeah, Zylstra.
Zylstra?
This last game he had six receptions for 96 yards. That's the most that he's ever had so far in his career. So
Can I say I called him cholesterol medicine to his face?
Did you really?
Because I did, and he cracked up.
Oh, good.
So maybe that helped. I don't know. I'm just going with I tried to help the team pregame.
I love that the players have a sense of humor about that. But if you're making that much money, you should have a sense of humor.
Well, and your name sounds like either an allergy or cholesterol or some kind of heartburn. I don't know.
True. During the fourth quarter, the big screens in the stadium showed a sideline shot of Greg Olsen wearing his beanie, and the entire stadium rose to their feet for a round of applause. And looked like Greg was getting a little choked up there. I can see
all the chills and all the feels.
Yeah. It's probably his last game he's ever going to be playing.
Well, and like he says, he's open to whatever happens. I think he knows very easily he has a career in the booth. We've seen him. He did really well. But, like he said, he's open to it. He just doesn't know what the future holds. And I think right now, especially, it's hard for him to even know himself because you don't know what kind of coaching staff and GM and everything else that could be coming in. So it's kind of, I guess it's hard to be bittersweet when you think, oh, this could be my last game, but I don't know that it is.
I know. He's not going out on his terms. I think it's his last game. And after that concussion he took, it should be. Like, just for his own health and safety. And he can't afford another hit like that. And that one was probably bad enough. I'm surprised he even came back this season at all.
Well, I think if he's thinking it's his last year, he wanted to at least play a game knowing it's probably his last.
Yeah, well, I don't think he thinks he doesn't want to stop.
He doesn't want to, but I think he also knows it might be time. He said the other day for Christmas Eve, his son was in for a tune-up at Levine, and that was in all the chills, all the feels post too that he had on social media. But I think you weren't going to see him go out with a concussion and not make his way back onto the field if he had the ability to do so.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, but I think he's done. And he had a great run, and at least he was there and had a chance to say goodbye to the fans. So we'll take that as what's the word I'm looking for when the consolation prize?
Silver lining.
Silver lining, I guess. It's sad. You want to see him go out on top, and this isn't the way that you want a guy like that to go out.
Just a few more notes on this, the end of the season, the last game and the end of it. Eric Reed, I know a very controversial name when you talk about it, but I'm going to talk about him. He had 11 tackles against the Saints, and
I want to see him come back.
He finished the season with 129 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
That is tied for 10th in the NFL.
Was there also 129 drug tests?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And how? But I wish they would count missed tackles because Eric Reed had a lot of noticeable ones.
But here's also what's significant about that. That is the most tackles in Panthers franchise history for a safety.
Oh yeah, but and I think that speaks to how bad our rush defense has been. That he's the guy that has to step up and do the tackling. But how many times did we see Eric Reed get run over too? And like he's going for the big hit and he just completely whiffs.
But he can't do it every time if he's the only guy we're really kind of depending on beside Bradbury.
Look, it's more of a while it's an impressive number, you kind of have to look at it in the full context. And it's like the only reason you get that number as a safety is because the defense is bad.
Very true. Very true.
And,
well, just like Christian McCaffrey, the reason he got the numbers he did was because the offense was bad.
Yeah. Well, I think when Marshall Faulk did it, the offense wasn't bad. That was the greatest show on turf.
True. So one final note about the defense, though. Luke Kuechly. Got to talk about Luke. He had 6 tackles during the game, and that finishes his season with 144 total. That's third in the NFL, by the way. Mm-hmm. And it's the most tackles Luke has ratcheted up in one season since 2014 when he had 153.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was playing lights out in the Colts game. Like he was one of the few bright spots that I saw there. But this last game, wow. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. It's just I feel like if everybody could have been playing half as good as Luke, we wouldn't have had a problem with our defense.
Well, obviously. I mean, but I really, as much as people like to talk about the change to the 3-4, I think we saw a huge gap with Thomas Davis gone.
Yeah.
I'll keep saying that. I really feel like we saw a huge gap.
And not just in performance, in leadership of the team as well.
Yeah. Can I ask if you guys were surprised to see Vernon Butler playing?
I was because after he flipped the guys off in Indianapolis, I was surprised that they let him play that game.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
He walked into the stadium so chipper. Like they announced, so on the catwalk, which I highly recommend, enter this contest. They do it for every home game. It's the Coca-Cola blue carpet catwalk. The experience was fantastic. And I'll talk more about that. But yeah, they'll announce the player coming in and everybody said Vernon Butler. And some people were like, I don't want to high five him right now. So a couple people backed off, but man, he was one of the more chipper people coming down there. And everybody's like, you wouldn't think he'd be so happy knowing like this is his last game here and he's about to get fired. So I don't know. Something turned around because they let him play and he seemed to be a happy guy.
Oh, maybe he just didn't stay mad for 6 days.
I mean,
Probably.
He's looking at it, man, after today, I'm off work. It's vacation time.
That's true. All right, final standings in the NFC. The Saints with a 13-3 record. The Falcons at 7-9. The Bucks also at 7-9, and then the Panthers at 5-11.
I read a good. I was in the chat rooms during the game, and I actually took a note of this one comment somebody made because it made me laugh so hard. They said, our defense is so bad they couldn't stop up a toilet.
I saw that. That was a Joe Person tweet. And they're absolutely right.
Oh my God. I laughed so hard at that. But that's been our defense the whole season.
It has. Okay. Moving right along, we have a little bit of X's news. Speaking of former Panthers, Ron Rivera has been hired by the Washington Redskins to be their next head coach. I was a bit surprised when I saw this because, look, I've been unemployed before, and I didn't take the first thing that came along because prostitution's an option. Selling plasma.
But you really did really well when you did that for a little while.
Yeah. Well, everybody's good at something.
There's a whole documentary on that.
Right, exactly. But I also heard that Mike McCarthy had made the comment about going to Washington that he refused to go there as long as the front office stayed as it was. Well, the Redskins did a smart thing in firing Bruce Allen, not the smartest thing in finding a new owner, but still, Ron landed a nice 5-year gig. And I say the over. I put the over under on that at maybe 2 or 3 seasons. I'm not sure how long.
4. He'll be gone in 4.
He'll be fired
at the most.
I don't know. He just wanted to stay where Jayme stayed involved with him a little bit. I think that was it. He knew he didn't want to leave Beal.
Look, when Ron first got fired, Washington was the first place that came to my mind of where he should go, and in some ways it absolutely makes sense. It's a good move by Washington because what they need is stability in the locker room, and Ron has proven that he's capable of doing that, and he can bring that to an organization. We saw what happened to our locker room as soon as he was gone. It just fell apart. So from that standpoint, he's bringing to Washington what they need. However,
discipline.
Yeah. Well, however, Washington is not a normal franchise. This is a quagmire of suck.
That's putting it mildly.
Yeah, and they have the worst or second worst owner in the league in Daniel Snyder, and he is not a hands-off guy. He's constantly meddling, and I don't think that Ron is going to be able to do or act the way that he was acting in Carolina with Daniel Snyder there. And we don't even know who their GM is going to be, or they fired Bruce Allen, right? And
yes,
and he was the director of operations because they decided they needed to have way more chiefs at the top. It wasn't good enough just having a general manager. We also had to have somebody else. So they were trying to play good cop, bad cop, and keep Daniel Snyder out of it. That didn't work. And I don't think at this point they're going to change that structure. So they're still going to have a lot of people at the top, but it's going to be all new guys. Now, supposedly, Ron Rivera is supposed to have a lot more control, and he's going to be in the process of hiring the GM, which sounds crazy to me, but
he knows what to do. I think he's a very smart coach. And I don't know what Snyder's going to do, but I think it's a smart move on Washington's part because if somebody can handle things and has the experience, it is Ron Rivera. We don't know, but what he's going to run boot camp out there and have Snyder doing push-ups every time he pisses him off.
No, that's not going to happen. That absolutely will not happen. And it's so like I said, it makes sense when you first look at it on paper. This actually is not a bad move, but it's the Redskins. It's the same story every year. Nothing's going to change as long as Daniel Snyder's the owner. and it's going to end the same way it's ended with every other coach. You're going to have this bright spot. It's going to be a huge spike because they win the offseason every year, and everybody right now is pretty excited about it because the way that they're looking at Ron Rivera is, oh, here's a guy who had a job for 9 years. He took him to a Super Bowl, and he won 3 division championships in a row. And the reason he got fired is because his star quarterback got hurt for 2 seasons, and he couldn't win because he didn't have any depth. So that's the way they're looking at Ron Rivera coming to Washington. We know there's a lot more to the story than that, but for Washington, this looks like a good deal for them. And
it does. But one of the things that you said that we said when we were having our discussion about this was that Washington is where head coaches go to die.
yeah, it's where NFL careers go to die.
That, yeah.
There's very few exceptions to that rule, and like I feel bad for Ron because I pretty much know what's going to happen. He's going to be here.
Well, he
He's
could
not-
have turned it down.
He could have. I mean, you go to Washington to get paid. So I don't feel that bad for him because he's going to be making bank. But if he cares about having a good legacy in the NFL, he's flushing it down the toilet by taking this job. And I would have rather him gone anywhere. Even Dallas. Dallas is a better organization than Washington. Or New York job. That kind of made sense because of Gettleman, but maybe they didn't have such a good relationship.
Well, maybe I can call shenanigans and say hopefully it's different. Maybe Washington will be a team you can be proud to have in your backyard again.
Maybe, but I kind of like it when they're bad, and I don't want them to be good next year because we play them. So we need to step. There's 2 games now on our schedule outside of the division that I really care about now. One is the Detroit Lions game because we will defend the Sword of Omens, and 2 is now the Washington Redskins game because we can't get beat by our former head coach.
No, but that always happens.
It does.
Can we talk about the coaching search for a bit? Because there are 4 names that have really come to the top. There's actually 6 that are being passed around.
I have my 3 favorites.
Well, let's start with one of the big names that's out there is former Packers coach Mike McCarthy. Now, there's a lot of feelings on both sides about this, that he got run out of Green Bay. He hasn't been coaching for a year, but then on the other side is that he's had enough time to sit back and reevaluate his priorities, to look at things, and he may be approaching this with a fresh perspective. I'd like to hear your thoughts, Ashlyn.
I like McCarthy. He took the team to that Super Bowl. He developed really well with several players. You saw them. Green Bay was a great team under him. I think he's got several
125, 77, and 2 record.
Yeah. I think you see the discipline that Ron had, yet still the relationship that you had with the players, which has kind of become a cultural thing in Carolina. And I know we're going through a cultural shift with a new owner, but I don't think you'll see a change where you have a team that's disciplined, yet, it's still a family and they respect their coach. And they look to him as a friend as much as a coach. He's one of my top 2 to top 3. I have one person I personally would like over him, and I know we're going to talk about him, but it's not a bad deal, and everybody's after him right now.
I don't know if Mike McCarthy came on board if him and Cam get along, just because if he couldn't handle Aaron Rodgers, then that's an issue.
Nobody can handle Aaron Rodgers' family can't even handle Aaron Rodgers.
But he's not as weird as Brady. Jayme,
Nobody can handle it.
I'm sorry. Mike McCarthy does not get me excited. Maybe he's good. I'm just kind of indifferent on him right now. And in fact, most of the candidates I'm pretty much indifferent about. And until we really get down to crunch time where we see the cream rise to the top, I don't think I'm going to have much of an opinion on it right now. And I'm concerned about the GM. Because I'm still pretty confident that Marty Herney's going to be gone, or at least.
Do you want Marty? So okay, yes.
Yeah, you know my feelings.
Yeah.
I have never wanted him back, so I'm waiting for this day.
We're waiting for the second firing of Marty Herney.
Yes, I'm anticipating it.
Are you guys surprised that there haven't been more firings in the front office of the Panthers?
No, because I don't think he's extending the same courtesy of you're getting replaced. I think everybody knows they're going, and there's not really a point.
What do you think the bloodbath occurs after the Super Bowl?
I think they already know. I don't think it's going to be a bloodbath. It's when you know it's coming, it doesn't hurt so much.
No, but it's going to be announced. Everyone's going to be talking about it.
Oh well,
Probably.
you mean the official announcement? Yeah, probably
Yeah.
not till the Super Bowl. It's over. But they're already looking. So, and they're going to bring in a new coach, and it's going to be a whole new staff. Although it might be one of those situations where everybody gets fired, but some of the guys might be able to reapply for their old jobs.
That's true.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends.
All right. Another candidate that's getting some strong consideration is Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy. Was that it? Did I pronounce it right?
Bieniemy.
Bieniemy? Yeah, sorry, Bieniemy.
Bieniemy.
Hey,
I want Bieniemy.
at least I didn't. I didn't pun on it like one of our local news stations that I often like to criticize, which did put up a graphic the other day that spelled school with one O. But yeah. The ultimate, yeah, I know, but
It's always fun to misspell school.
hey, at least I took a stab at it. Whereas their anchors said, yeah, there are four coaching candidates. They are these two and McCarthy and McDaniels. I'm like, oh, come on, really? Or I'm like, yeah, just yeah, exactly.
Well, Bieniemy is my pick, and so out of Kansas City, do you want to do your spiel on Bieniemy?
Well, I really don't. I don't have a whole lot, but I think that he's a good option. He is offensive minded. He's
Analytics minded.
Yeah, he's really done a great job coaching and Mahomes. I'm happy about that. But again, we're not really sure what we're getting here. There are a lot of unknowns as well. Are the Chiefs' success because of what he's done, or is it how much has he contributed to that? So my question. And we've got a lot of areas that need addressing. So is he the right person to do that? I hope he is. But I think that he is one of the top contenders for this position. Ashlyn, let me hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I want him. I think he's got the new take on football. I mean, he's not Moneyball, and we don't want Moneyball, but a version of it. I think he spotted some young talent. I think he developed it well. I think he has a good eye for the future, and I think he's very modern. But still, I think he matches that description of what Tepper said he wanted with old school football meets modern analytics. I don't know if I necessarily think he'll do better than McCarthy, but I think there's a very good shot that it's him based on what Tepper's looking for, and he has interviewed, so we'll see how that goes out.
When I hear the idea that he wants modern analytics, I think of that book that was written a few years ago at some of the high schools have actually tried to implement that suggested you never punt. You never turn the ball over to your opponent intentionally, and you always go for the onside kick and things like that. You do everything you can to retain possession of the ball. And the statistics say, even in the NFL, that this should work, but nobody has the nerve to try it and see if it can actually be successful in the NFL. So I wonder when Tepper said that, if he was alluding to something along those lines, a modified version of those analytics type suggestions of what you should do in situations.
Well, there's also college teams now that have these kids from the schools that are assistants, not really like consultants that come in that are in the headsets of the offensive and defensive coordinators, but are similar to how like Luke Kuechly sees things, but they also are, they're not football. They've never played football. Right. They're more of a video game football. Correct. But they are these like geniuses that can just, beautiful mind style, see numbers in their heads and can tell people. And that's been so successful in college that I think if you can read things quickly and are able to compute that, now you don't want a coach that's purely analytical, but if you have some aspects of that, like Kuechly has, like Christian has, that some people that can see the future right in front of you, but also be able to look at a player and know who's going to be successful. And I think that's what Bieniemy brings to the table.
And I think the value of those kids, like the video game football player, what you're doing when you do that is you're running simulations over and over and over and over again. So you've seen these scenarios hundreds, maybe thousands of times. So there is a value in bringing people like that into the real game because they can spot things. I mean, all they're doing is running a simulation. So they know how a defense is going to react to the kind of offense that you're running and what kind of adjustments you should be trying to make. And you can start to read that. And when you go into those simulations over and over and over, you're just going to get faster and faster and faster at the job. And that's also why I think you need somebody who's good at clock management, because video game football players are probably way, way better at clock management than real life coaches because they have fewer things to pay attention to. And like, they're not worried about actually yelling at the referee and stuff like that. But that's one of the big faults that some coaches have. They totally will botch managing timeouts and the clock, and just having somebody that's their job is to just pay attention to that could be very valuable. And there's like probably thousands of people in the country right now who are pretty skilled at doing that because of all the video games they've played.
All right.
Who's next?
Let's move to the next one. Okay. That would be current New England Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels.
Not going to happen.
I don't think so. Just because I don't think that he has the I don't think his credibility will keep it up. I know a lot of.
You think he's going to pull a Colts again?
Well, that's the whole thing, and that's a black mark. That's
it is unless you're Josh McDaniels.
Right.
Well, so I've always been under the assumption, and I'll say this.
A little background on that first.
Okay.
No, if you want to, I don't care. You're me.
No, you do the background because you've got the good background in front of you.
Just a couple of off seasons ago, that McDaniels was offered the head coach of the Colts, and he backed out of it. So that's all it is. But still, that's pretty bad.
How many Super Bowls does he have?
He has a lot.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I have always felt like he's staying. You know, he's part of the empire, and when the emperor dies, he's gonna take over.
No Rise of Skywalker spoilers. It's still early.
I don't even remember that movie. I don't understand. I don't
think
have.
you're going there with that.
Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
but I mean, you know, everybody calls New England the evil empire.
Yes.
Right.
So I took it there, but so Brian actually brought up something which part of me wants to put a tinfoil hat on him for saying this, but part of me thinks he could be correct in that he feels like in the offseason, Brady's going to go to the Chargers. McDaniels is going to go to the Chargers. This is Brian's theory. And you know what? It sounds far-fetched, but when you think about it a little bit, could happen. But I see it being, though, if Brady's going to go somewhere, I think McDaniels goes with him. And I don't think that's far-fetched. Do I think Brady's actually going to go somewhere else? I don't know. I'd love to see it just so that he can come in and play New England. I'd love to see him go somewhere just to, like,
get a win
F with
against
everybody.
If he can get a win
Just
against
to-
New England, so he beat other
Well,
teams.
because he's infallible up there. I mean, there's nothing the guy can do wrong. I'd love to see him go to another team just to do it. But I do think McDaniels is either going to stay with the Pats or go where Brady goes.
I don't think he's going to quit until he's forced to.
Brady?
Yeah, he's going to keep playing as long as somebody's going to be willing.
No, he said 45, so
Yeah, but he's got a couple of years before he gets there.
yeah, Giselle's ready for him to be done.
I mean, he looks this year.
She makes the money.
This year was his year that he went in decline. I mean, you could see it.
Well, he doesn't trust anybody now that he doesn't have his receivers. So I don't know but what you see him go somewhere and McDaniels goes with him. But I don't know. Either that or McDaniels is going to stay in New England. You're not going to see, and I don't want to see Josh McDaniels come to Carolina.
I don't want him either. Man, you got me on a Brady tangent, though. I don't know why the guy still works. He doesn't have to work another day in the rest of his life.
No, he married into money.
Yeah, he should have quit when he got married. No, but look, he's making his own money too. It's like the guy's never gonna have to worry about struggling ever. So
All TB12 is focused on is TB12, the brand,
yeah.
and the future of
But I mean, what can be done to? I mean, I think he'd have to go out and like kill babies in public to hurt his brand at this point. At least in Boston.
Well, no, but if he does actually yeah. No, I don't even think that would hurt his brand in Boston.
Well, it depends on the babies, I guess.
No, I don't think it depends on them.
Oh, really?
You have no idea. But no, I think though you are going to see him play to close to 45 because that helps build his brand to say, hey, follow my method, and you can take hits and throw passes, run faster, jump higher,
So you can retire and sell supplements for men's health, men over 40.
It's not supplements, it's a lifestyle.
Oh yeah, a whole plan for men over 40. Say this, you too can be as fit as me and play in the NFL till you're 45 if you have millions of dollars and the best trainers in the world.
Yes.
Shall we talk about Matt Rule?
I don't even know who he is. I'm sorry. I should probably know that.
So
Yes, you do.
he is the head coach of Baylor.
College does not translate to pro. I don't care who you are. Look at Nick Saban, who's probably one of the greatest college coaches that ever was. I didn't say that. That didn't come out of my mouth. Oh, that hurt.
Well,
but he coached the Redskins. I mean, it doesn't translate. You could be the best coach in college, and you're not going to be able to coach NFL. Pete Carroll is the one odd exception.
You know, I don't think that's a true statement. I think we've had a lot of examples where it's been a failed experiment, but a lot of those coaches went into bad situations where they didn't already have good players in place, and the structure of the organization was bad. So, like we
don't have great players in play.
Who? We don't.
I'm saying, like, to come into ours, you've got to rebuild still.
We do need to rebuild, but we have some great pieces to work with. I mean, we've got some Hall of Fame talent to work with.
Yeah.
So that's a different situation with like we've seen in Washington, and because everybody comes to Washington and fails, and even you'll see that in Cleveland and wherever you go. So I mean, if you sent a college coach to Pittsburgh, they probably would be successful.
Well, I'll say this much. My Bulldogs kicked his butt last night.
Now, here are a few reasons why. And I don't know if this is why we would bring him in, but as we've heard David Tepper say over and over again, he is not going to tolerate sustained mediocrity, and by bringing someone like Rule in would be sort of thinking outside the box, not bringing in someone, not promoting Norv Turner to head coach, for example. It wouldn't be making the sort of a safe move by bringing in McCarthy. It would be something kind of radical, but then it's one of those high risk, high reward scenarios where you bring him in. And Jayme, we were saying this is the exact same thing about what Ron Rivera's gotten into. It is a high risk, high reward situation. It would be the same thing for Rule. So if Tepper doesn't, I don't think he likes to gamble. I think he likes to wisely invest his money, which is why I'm thinking that I'm not sure if Rule is the right guy.
He's not. I mean, of all the college coaches I can think of, though, there are ones out there that I'd say maybe, but he's not one of them.
All right, there are a couple of other names that are floating around out there. One is Greg Roman, who is
my other one.
Yeah, the Ravens offensive coordinator. So he's been doing some really good things with Baltimore's quarterback Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And rumor has it he's the one that really went out there and said that's who we want.
Well, he has gotten a request from the Browns, who fired their coach after one season.
I think Roman's going to be awesome somewhere. Well, I mean, he came from the Niners he was under Harbaugh, the Niners, and then he went over to Baltimore. He's going to end up somewhere, and he's going to have a decent run at it.
The Browns will make a run at him if nothing else, just because they want to disrupt. They just want to disrupt Baltimore, and take away that piece from them and try to.
Depending on how Baltimore does this this postseason, I don't know that Baltimore will give them up very easily.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, you should always try to hold on to your assistant coaches when you're making a good playoff run or a Super Bowl run. Like it happened to us too. I think if we hadn't lost our defensive coordinators, then we probably wouldn't have declined like we did.
Here are a couple other names that are floating around out there. Of course, Perry Fewell. We would be remiss without mentioning him because he is the interim head coach still.
Why are you even mentioning him?
Well, just because I don't want to get the angry tweet or the angry message. Hey, what about the current coach? Because that will happen.
No.
Well, I think he's gotten a test run and it wasn't a good ride.
Yep, exactly. Another name that's quietly floating around out there, sort of one of those bubbling under names, that would be Kevin Stefanski. He is the Vikings offensive coordinator, but there's really nothing connecting him to the Panthers at this time. So that is that's a name that's out there that is a possibility, but nothing has come from it, of course. Okay, so that wraps up the coaching search.
Can we talk about the futures contracts that were just signed?
Well, sure. Let's talk about
So
it.
7 players, 7 of the 10 on the practice squad, but one notable exception. Guess who did not get signed to a futures contract?
Is it a practice squad player?
Yeah.
It is? Oh, man, I wouldn't know who to.
Elijah Holyfield
Really?
did not get a reserve future contract.
Ooh.
Let's see who did.
He just suck.
I don't know what happened. I wish he'd have stayed at Georgia one more year. But even, in college, there's like some group that does ratings and sends them private letters that says, here's where we think you'll go in the draft or if you should stay or if you should come out and all this stuff. His letter said stay one more year and he didn't. So I don't know. Let's see. We signed Blanding, cornerback Hatfield, tight end Hemingway, wide receiver Jean-Pierre, tackle Mars, tackle Montiero, and linebacker Sion Tehima. Tuhima. I'm gonna say that Teuhema.
I'll give you a applause.
But we also signed 2 new players, which one of these is interesting to me. So a running back, Marcus Murphy, but kicker Elliott Fry. Now, Elliott Fry comes out of South Carolina. He's bounced around the NFL a little bit. Let me tell you about this tiny person. He is so skinny and looks about 12 years old. So I've always, being Georgia with Carolina, we always made jokes. But this kid showed up for his first game to kick at Carolina, South Carolina, being the Gamecocks. And they left the A off his jersey. It just said Caroline.
Oh, my gosh.
And I thought, you know what? He is so skinny and so slender, narrow. I don't know that it would have fit the A, but that's Elliott Fry, and we've put him on a futures reserve.
That story is so sweet. Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know.
No, but it didn't even have the E. It just was missing the A off the end of it, and he had to come out and kick like that. I'm like, wouldn't you have thought they could have found an iron-on A before he ran out of the tunnel or done something?
That reminds me of Adam Dunn coming out in a Nationals jersey one time with the missing O.
Oh. So yes, that's Elliott Fry. He's a decent kicker. He was a Mr. Insignificant. No, I take that back. That was Suckup. Ryan Suckup also came out of Carolina, South Carolina. Sorry, being from South Carolina in college to me is South Carolina. I know it's a lot of North Carolina people, but Suckup also came out of there, and he's.
That's why there's a state line.
2 states, 1 team.
That's right. Yeah, unless you're talking about Carolina, and you fight
Tar Heels and Gamecocks.
Fight amongst yourself. Really, the only thing that we have coming up soon, other than the firings, the draft. The draft is coming up Thursday, April 23rd until Saturday, April 25th. The Roaring Riot is planning a draft experience, by the way. So stay tuned to roaringriot.com to find out about it. Also, memberships for
Las Vegas.
That's right, in Las Vegas itself, home of the Oakland Raiders.
Can we always call them that? Las Vegas.
Well, I
home of
still say
Oakland
the San
Raiders.
Diego Chargers.
No, I like the Las Vegas is the home of the Oakland Raiders. That's
Oh,
they
oh,
should
there
always
was-
be the Oakland Raiders, wherever they are.
The
not even-
Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas.
Yes.
Not even, you're just writing off Los Angeles now.
Well, Las Vegas Chargers presented by Oakland.
Las Vegas, yeah. No, it's still. Let's just agree that we're going to call them the Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with that. Good with that. No, they will. But it's different from San Diego. Like the Chargers will always be the San Diego Chargers, unless they.
But they were
actually-
originally the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, but that was
Yeah.
for 1 year, and then they spent 50 years, or was it 40 years? I can't remember. I think it was 50 in San Diego, and then went back. I mean, they'll be the San Diego Chargers unless they leave California. If they went to St. Louis, okay, I'd probably start calling them the St. Louis Chargers.
They would be the San Diego Chargers of St. Louis.
Yeah.
The San Diego Rams?
You know, when the dementia settles in on me, I'm just people are just going to go, oh, they won't be able to tell because I'll still be spouting off Oakland Raiders in
Vegas.
Las Vegas. Yeah,
In my day, the Oakland Raiders were a crazy
Right.
fan
Right.
base.
Right, they're
My
like,
day,
oh,
the
no,
Oakland Raiders were actually
no.
in Oakland.
no, his mind is solid. He's always said that. Like, yeah, I'll just be sitting there rotting away. Roaring Riot memberships, they will renew around April 30th, May 1st. That's when the NFL year officially kicks off. So your membership will be renewed. So if you're not a member, you don't join now. Join after then, because that's when that's when everything kicks in. And we do hope you join because the away game experiences are just there's something to behold. Even though I've never been on it, I talked to folks. Well, I have when I lived in DC, but
I have,
yeah,
and they are fantastic.
yeah, you have this. This. It's funny how we're getting this little society built around everyone who goes on these trips. Like it's becoming a little
Crazy.
little group. Yeah, but
It's also really cool the fact that, I kick back. I get Christmas cards from members of people that I only know through the Roaring Riot. And, when you talk about people you get Christmas cards from, you don't just, and you don't send them to random people. So, it really becomes a family. I've got people, when I see them, it's so exciting, and we make efforts to see each other. But the away game experiences, especially, a lot of them, some of the same people go on a lot of them together. They make plans together. If you're one of those people that it's just you or you and a friend and the cost is higher, rooming, make friends, room together. It truly is a family. And I can say that with the fact that there are some people that I'd give a kidney to that I've met through the Roaring Riot.
And there's been some love blooming from these events too. So there's that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, do
You
have
never
an
know.
announcement?
No, I don't.
I think there have been some weddings, maybe a couple. I think I heard of one or two of those.
I don't have anything official, and I don't have anyone to talk about it.
But we need if you have gotten into a Roaring Riot relationship, please call us and let us know, and we'll
Triple
have you
R.
on and talk about it.
If you're okay, if you're okay talking about it.
Well, I hope
Speaking
you're
of-
okay with talking about it.
We did have a great crowd for the last tailgate of the season. More folks showed up than I thought would, and the rain held off throughout the whole thing. Sadly enough, Shake Shack, the food truck that was on its way bottomed out and ripped the fuel tank off. So
And
that's
got stuck in the mud right outside of the tailgate.
Yeah, 50 feet away. So, they talk about football as a game of inches, and burgers are an issue of a few feet. Yeah. So that's
Feet in a fuel tank.
Wait, did
Yeah.
that kill if the food truck was that close? Did it kill it? Like
yeah,
Yeah, because
You
the
couldn't
fuel
get
tank
food?
nope.
fuel
Oh.
tank bottomed out and leaked, and they
So it was
can't
a
exactly.
hazard. Oh, yeah, they can't.
Yeah.
cover that.
But it was gone after the game.
Oh, good.
So they did get it unstuck because
That's
actually it was
good.
before the game was over, because we got back to the car in the fourth quarter only because I did not leave a game early. I always hate those people, but it started decently raining and I had an 8-month-old with us. So we did leave.
The most popular person at the tailgate being your son.
He had a great time. He had a great time all day. Brian looked at me like a day or two later and he's like, holy crap, we did something impossible because we did the player intros. We did the tailgate. We lasted through 3 quarters, including the halftime, like Roaring Riot get together of the football game. The child was a trooper.
My niece thought the halftime get together was insane.
Yeah, talk about that. I was actually promoting it online on social media.
I thought you were gonna like be the surprise guest of halftime the way you were promoting it.
Yeah, so
everybody come see me.
I was on Facebook and like telling people, man, this game's so bad, you might as well just go up to the halftime place now and just stay there till the end of the game.
It's a lot of fun.
I got the coolest Panther shirt I think I've ever had during the giveaways of the halftime experience.
Yeah, you showed that to me. That looked like it would have been worth the drive.
Serper 25.
Yeah, that was really cool.
They give out good stuff. A few years ago, I went and we got Panther gloves that had like the finger thing where you can still use your phone and they say Carolina Panthers on them.
Oh, that's nice.
They have good giveaways.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Serper stuff though. There's not enough Serper merchandise in my opinion.
The halftime experience, as everyone's talking about, is at halftime, of course. Unless you want to watch Frisbee Dogs and the BMX guys, head up to section 525 because we have a DJ. We have folks from the Panthers come out. All the Roaring Riot folks are there. Mad Cata was there. We have basically everyone who's at the tailgate. You get to see them again and
dance with them.
Dancing. There's prizes. It's just a lot of fun. So for 15 minutes, you can hang out up there because you're not going to go to everybody else is lined up for food or beer or the bathroom. No. You know, if you're a professional attendee of Panthers games, you go to the bathroom about 5 minutes before the end of the half.
Yeah.
And then halftime is your time. So it's a lot of fun, and it's been going on now for quite some time. And Jayme, I know that you were living vicariously through us being there. It was a lot. It really is a blast.
Well, I can imagine because I've been to many DC United games, and that's what we did. I did that for 10 years with them, and we'll just take the entire section, we'd go into the concourse, we'd set up our drums, and just turn into a big mosh pit sometimes. There'd just be a huge party right in the middle of the concourse. There'd be 1,000 people jumping up and down and screaming and singing the whole time. And I can imagine that what you guys have is something similar to that. And I'm jealous. I would like to be there and see it in person. And one of these days I'll get down there.
When what's on the field is unwatchable, hanging out with everybody up there in 525 makes the rest of the game so much worth it.
Yeah, it gives you
people stayed even after the half started back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This time.
Yeah, it makes sense because you can socialize and hang out, and you're not wasting your time sitting there watching whatever it was they were
watching a game in the rain.
Well, the TV's on. You can still see the game.
Yeah.
There's TV everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, look, what we saw on
and
Sunday,
it was covered.
Yeah, what we saw on Sunday. Would you have been mad if they would have just canceled the game? I mean, honestly.
So when I showed up for the player experience, I asked a policeman that was standing there, with the section. I'm like, is this the right direction? He's like, no, they've canceled that today, which didn't seem like, I was like, oh, well, they didn't email us, but with the rain, maybe they canceled it. And he's like, yeah, the players aren't showing up today. I'm like, oh, yeah, that seems like it would be the same results as if they did.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to be funny, but I think he had a valid point.
Yeah, well, I think...
would I have been upset if I got a refund for my ticket price? I would not.
The thing is, I think people who were going there to do all the other stuff around game day would be upset. I mean, but the game itself...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's not why people were there.
There are microeconomies that sprout up because of games.
Yeah.
It's not just what's going on in the stadium. It's huge.
Have you done Panthers on Mint?
I've walked through it.
Is it anything?
That's fun. Yeah, they put on a good thing.
I didn't know about this until they said, oh, you can once you leave the tailgate or the arrival experience, you can go to Panthers on Mint, and then I saw them breaking it down. So I was just curious
Yeah,
how
Panthers
that was.
a lot of fun. It takes place in Rivera Bearden Park off the north side of the stadium. I believe it's the corner of MLK and Mint Street, right across from the Knights baseball field. It's a lot of fun. They have the inflatable cat head that's out there. Some of the top cats are out there. They have various activities for kids. It's a lot of fun. If you want to check that out before the game, I highly recommend it. If they do it in 2020. So yeah, it's worth checking out. By the way, speaking of the tailgate, because of the rain, our friend Britt Kimmel took a chance to chat with us because he is one of those unique people who sets up in the end zone. You might know him as Jump Zone, and he took a few moments to chat with us. All right. I'll come back to that.
He was nice.
Man,
He is. Real nice guy.
we're like an
50
hour in.
55 minutes and 27 seconds.
Yeah. We haven't talked about playoffs. We haven't done final.
Playoffs.
We're talking about playoff.
I would like to mention how I'm kind of happy we're not even talking about the game. The game
Well,
itself.
we did.
Well, barely.
Well, let's roll the final thought and wrap it up. 'Cause
Uh,
I got to get back to
oh,
work.
you don't want to do like the things that you appreciated from the season?
No, I didn't get a chance to put it together.
Okay. I actually got them,
Oh, okay. Well,
but I
let's.
don't need to do it. If we're not all doing it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I don't have a ton of stuff.
Can we talk about the games this weekend, though? I have one fun.
I thought we did that.
No,
You
not
want to do it as part of your final
not
thought?
the playoff games.
What games?
The-
Yeah, we did. I just mentioned it briefly in the beginning.
Oh
which,
yeah, well, we didn't really go into depth on them. So.
Oh.
Okay. Well, we don't really need to. I just wanted to. I had a quip about it. I guess I'll do it as my final thought. That's fine.
All right. Well, let's roll it. Pull up the cart. 3, 2, 1.
And now, of course, it's time for my final thought.
Jayme, what's on your mind?
All right. Well, we have 4 playoff games coming up this weekend. And I was looking at the schedule and I thought of a great way we could just nickname all these bowls. And
Boy.
I'm going to share my nicknames for the 4 playoff games if they were bowl games. So the first one is the obvious one, and I'm going to stick to alliteration. It's going to be the Seahawks versus the Eagles. That's going to be the Bird Bowl. Can we
Okay.
agree on that? That one's good, right? I'm going to do the hard. This was the hardest one to come up with something. So give me some feedback on this one. The the New England Saints versus the Tennessee Titans.
The New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Please do not canonize them. They've already done it
I was gonna
themselves.
call them
Please
the
do
New-
not canonize
I was
them.
about to call them the New Orleans Patriots, and then I corrected myself and called them the New England Saints.
Okay, so we're
looking at that. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, the New England Patriots versus the Tennessee Titans.
okay. What bowl is that?
The best I could come up with, because this was the hardest one, was the Americana Bowl, because they both kind of are like red, white, and blue with stars. I don't know. Could you come up with anything better?
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably the
The
best.
wild
You got a
card
flaming
bowl, because that's the
thumbtack.
biggest insult.
You have a flaming thumbtack and a Patriot, and they're both from the
Round one bowl.
They're both from the old AFC or AFL, but I don't know. Americana
I
was
call
the best
it
I could
the-
come up with.
I call it the no bye week bowl
No.
because they assume they're getting the bye week.
All right.
I'm sorry. Anything to insult them.
Well,
Okay.
that's the best I could come up with. All right, then we go back to the NFC. We have New Orleans Saints versus the Minnesota Vikings. That's going to be the Mississippi River Bowl, because you have the beginning of the Mississippi and the end of the Mississippi, depending on which way you want to look at it from a certain.
I like that.
And then the last one would be the Buffalo Bills versus the Houston Texans, which I just decided to call it the Horned Beast Bowl, because I do like a little bit of alliteration in there.
I like
I
that.
almost want to call it the Wild West Bowl just because it's got buffaloes
Yeah,
and
you got buffaloes and steers.
I like that one too. Very, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Nice.
got some nice. You got a little bit of nice thematic themes for these bowls here or these playoff games if they were college
Can
bowls.
can we rename the Titans Patriots one the Toilet Bowl?
Well, okay. Well,
Sorry.
why? Okay, I understand the Patriots, but why the Titans?
I mean, they're not good either.
Well, yeah. But I mean, we just want to flush the Patriots.
Okay. Yeah, well.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm not really looking forward to the playoffs this weekend because we're not in them.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It,
I mean,
what
I'll keep tabs on it, but
okay, here's a question for you that always comes around. Do you pull for the Saints because you want a strong NFC South showing, or do you pull for whoever's playing the Saints because you hate the Saints?
let's go Vikings.
Yeah, same here. I just replay last week's episode if you want to find out my feelings about the Saints.
I do not want to hear Whodats all for the next month.
God, no.
Yeah, I'm. No, it's not like college where you need to support your other division or your conference teams because then the whole conference gets more money. This is.
We don't even do that in college anymore.
Oh yeah, they don't do that anymore.
I mean, you do, but you don't really.
Who are you pulling for between the Seahawks and the Eagles? I'm going for the Seahawks there just because Eagles fans are asses.
That's a tough one. The Seahawks beat us though, and that I'm a little. They always beat us, so I'm starting to get bitter. And we don't have a history. We don't really have a history with the Eagles.
11 teams beat us.
Yeah.
Hey, we came back and kicked their ass last year.
Yeah. So I'm probably going to go with the Eagles in that one.
Okay, I have no doubt who you're going to be pulling for against the Titans and Patriots.
Yeah, Titans.
How about the Bills and Texans?
Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
I'm so excited. They're actually good.
I'm actually.
I'm proud of them.
I'm indifferent on that one. It's like either one I'm okay with. It's more. I'm more concerned with who they're going to be playing this. Who the winner of that game will be playing in the second round.
I'm so proud of them.
All right. Well, speaking of playoffs, I mean, we didn't make the playoffs, but I'm doing my Tecmo Bowl series, and if you watch my last week's game against the Saints, I did make the playoffs at 9-7 with Kyle Allen as my backup quarterback.
Excellent.
So last night I sat down and Ashlyn actually tuned in for a bit, and I played the entire playoff series until I either won the Super Bowl or I got eliminated. And if you watched live, you got to see what happened. If you didn't, you can just keep watching every Wednesday. I'm going to debut a new episode at 8:00 each week, and as long as I'm still alive, there'll be another episode for you to watch. So keep
So
a lookout for
let's
that.
hope there's another episode.
Yeah, let's hope. Well, there's at least one. Actually, the first game will be up probably tomorrow. The one from the Carolina versus Atlanta Falcons in the wild card round.
Excellent. Ashley, you got a final thought?
Yes, I do. That sounded really excited. So I was just going to say, one, thank you guys both for another wonderful season. I have a feeling we'll be talking to everybody fairly soon once we get a new coach hired. I mean, the fact that Ron's already signed a contract, I don't think it's going to be too long. But yeah, thank you guys for another season. Thank you, Zach, for continuing to grow the family. It was so nice. We met a couple that had actually driven from Denver at the tailgate that listened to the podcast, and that's kind of crazy. I mean, they were coming home to see family. It wasn't just to come to the tailgate, but somebody drove farther than I did to get there. I know I mentioned earlier, if you have the opportunity next season, because they will be doing the Coca-Cola blue carpet catwalk, totally worth it. Very small crowd. It was nice. They had coffee, they had waters, they had Coke, Diet Coke, caffeine-free Coke. But then they gave away some good stuff too. We got t-shirts, we got ponchos. Actually, we got branded ponchos, which were pretty cool. I mean, they were the disposable kind, but those were more than a couple bucks in the stadium.
And you
And use them. Yes.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes. They did some giveaways there, and it was really cool with the players, seeing them come in. Some, walked further away. But a lot of them had gotten comfortable with it. It was really, really cool. But no, it's just been another great year. I'm thankful to still be a part of the Riot and the Riot podcast. And this definitely gives me an outlet to stay close to home with being away. And I really appreciate it. But I think, anybody that's listening to this, thank you for doing that, because, it gives us an outlet, but we do it so that I remember when I was just a listener, it got me through my car rides, my hour each way commute to work. So thank you for continuing to listen, and we can't wait. Sorry, we don't have a postseason. We tried hard.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm trying to give one.
But
I'm trying to do a postseason. I want to tack on the one thing you said about expanding the Riot family. And we haven't really talked about it much, and we probably should. But I think that even extends to the new Mint City Collective for the new MLS team. So the Roaring Riot was kind of formed with some of the basis of a soccer supporters club, and now it's taken that energy into forming a real soccer supporters club, and
which helped bring the team.
You're right. So if you're excited about more sports coming to Charlotte, then I think, or at least, do we know where the team's going to play? Is it going to be in?
It's going to be in Bank of America Stadium.
It is? Okay, well, that seems kind of big for soccer, but
well, it's only the lower levels that they're going to.
Well, it's about the same size as RFK, so when you fill that stadium, it'll be amazing. Before soccer.
RFK, like 40,000 people.
Yeah, 45.
Yeah, but Bank of America Stadium 76,000.
Is it? I thought it was only like 55, 60.
No, it's huge.
Oh, wow, that's way bigger than I thought. Okay, well, I stand corrected. Well, anyway, you just fill the lower bowl, and you'll have you can have a really good experience there. And just if you don't like soccer, my suggestion there, but you like the Roaring Riot, join the Mint City Collective, and you'll learn to like soccer, because then you're gonna get more tailgates out of the year.
So I was gonna say, or just go tailgate and party with the group.
Yeah, like I didn't like soccer when I started. I just liked tailgating and partying with everybody. And then after a year or so, I was like, wow, I like soccer. This is amazing. So that's a good way to start. And you're gonna have a lot of the same friends you have now through the Roaring Riot. So it's not gonna be that strange to you. And it's gonna be more of the same, but another sport with a different shaped ball.
That's
a ball
true.
that's actually the shape of a ball.
And it's going to be interesting because you'll be able to get some really good seats at the lower level for professional soccer. So that's a good thing.
Well, if it's the thing is, all the new teams actually are doing incredibly well on ticket sales. It's easier to get good seats at the stadiums for the older teams, because the fan bases are kind of jaded and it's not new and fresh to them. But like Atlanta still sells more tickets than the Falcons do sometimes.
Oh, wow. Well, that's not surprising.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised at that first season of MLS that it's going to be a hot ticket in town.
Have you already got your new shirt that dropped, Jayme?
Have I?
The new Mint City Collective shirt that dropped.
I'm a DC United fan, and I will be forever.
Oh, but did you see what it was?
No, I didn't. Oh,
I think it said "Screw that team" or whatever. It was A-Town down. It was the A down.
Yeah. Because they're talking about Atlanta, right?
Yep, I thought you'd like that.
Yeah, I do like that. I absolutely hate the Atlanta MLS team because they stole DC United's colors and name. There's no reason for them to be United team.
Well, stay tuned. If you're interested in that, stay tuned over the spring, because that's when the team name and branding and colors will be announced.
Oh man, I just hope they actually give the team a name, like a nickname, and they don't go with like Charlotte FC or United or Roy. I hate all those things. Give the team a real name. Name it like Seattle Sounders or LA Galaxy, something like that. Don't just use one of those stupid traditional soccer names. That's what I'm asking for. But I'm looking forward to being able to travel down there with DC United and have all my Roaring Riot friends yell at me for supporting the other team.
Worlds colliding. Yeah. By the way, I have no proof of this, but I have the feeling that the colors are going to contain purple and black.
I heard they were going to be in like a bluish greenish kind of. Let's try to stick to the bluish stuff.
We'll see. But I have a feeling
black would be weird. That's Ravens.
Well, not really, because you've got the Hornets right there, so it would be a mix of some Hornet color and some Panther color.
Yeah. I could see that. That's not.
And there's no purple in the MLS, is there?
But I think you want to have to keep a bit of a. There used to be purple. I think you want to keep something minty colored. So
Maybe.
you probably need a little bit of a green in there.
We'll see. All right. I don't have a whole lot more to add than what you guys have said, except for this has been it's challenging to put together something such as this when the team sucks.
You put all the stuff away already.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, actually. But where we record the podcast here, I had 2 carburetors sitting here that I was rebuilding over the last week that I have rebuilt. I'm in the process of rebuilding a 1973 MG Midget, so that's going to keep me busy for the off season. Hopefully, I'll have it ready in about 3 or 4 months. But getting back to what about the podcast, it's been great meeting everyone who we spoke to at the tailgates, the couple from Denver, Brian and his son from Asheville. I know we lost Jody. She moved out of Asheville to LA, but she still keeps in touch. But still, it's a lot of fun talking to everyone, hearing from everyone who call in. Josh, great hearing from you. Hope you have a great off season. Cheeto, everybody, really everybody. It's a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun getting the Winston-Salem group back together since it kind of fell apart a few years ago, but now we've got a good showing. I think that we're probably one of the only groups that can claim 3 super fans in our group. Rudy Big Fan, Mad Cat, and Catman Jr. All have joined us at one time or another, and we've got some really good feedback about what we've been doing. And each chapter is growing. Happy to see what's going on with Cheer City. I shouldn't have said that because I'm going to leave people out, but it's been a lot of fun and listening to what folks have to say. Everyone's feedback about what we do is always it always makes me feel really good. We're going to start some work on some other things soon, such as the riotreport.com website. We're going to update the design for it. And speaking of that, if you want to know every single thing going on within the Panthers, that is where you need to find it. Go to theriotreport.com because you are not going to find a better place for Panthers information. Yes, we have a photo gallery from the best moments of the 2019 season, the coaching search, the photo gallery from the last home game of the season, but we also have the other podcasts, and those guys are going just like us. They're going to keep going on throughout the season. Head over and listen to Carolina Line, 1 Day Contract, and Not What You Think. They're great. They're going to keep churning them out just like we will when there's something to talk about. So,
well, like I know Den, man, he goes every week.
Yeah, he does.
He's relentless. I don't know
he
how
is.
he does it. I like once you get to off season, it's just not so much to talk about. And he finds something.
I applaud him for that. Great work, Den, and really appreciate working with everybody on this. It's a pleasure meeting everyone, even the players this offseason. Pete Metzler was really awesome. And you never know who you're going to see at a Panthers tailgate. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for wasting between 45 minutes and an hour and 15 minutes a week with us. It's a lot of fun putting this together. Anything else, guys? What am I missing?
I think that's it.
All right. Yeah, that's
it all. I mean,
that's
we are going to come back when the head coach gets hired, right?
Oh yeah. We'll talk about.
We'll be doing a few off-season ones, but only really for big news when it drops.
Head coach draft. Then we'll be knocking on the 2020 door for the season. So.
And we have our expert Ashlyn for the draft because she knows everything college football.
Yes, she does.
Andrew Thomas. Sorry, I really want him.
That's the name we need to remember for the draft for our number 1 pick. Do you think he'll last to? We got the 7th pick.
We have 7th pick. I have said he'll go top 5 or 6. So we shall see.
We're on the bubble.
All right,
that'll be interesting. I'm glad it's early though, so we don't have to stay up late on draft night.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Follow us on Instagram at Roaring Riot Podcast, on Twitter at R Riot Podcast. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Roaring Riot Podcast, or visit our website at roaringriotpodcast.com. As I said, listen to Not What You Think, Carolina Line. It is what it is, and one-day contract, part of the Riot Network, powered by Ortho Carolina. Happy New Year, and we will see you soon. Go Panthers. Bye.
Keep pounding, everybody. So why did Den stop doing Keep Pound Den podcast? Because that was a great name for his podcast.
Well, because it was just him in the title too.
Yeah, he wanted to make it a little more inclusive. And
Yeah, but it was such a good name.
I know it was.
Like that was.
You wish your name was Den just because of that.
No, but I mean, it's because it was. It just had it was like a triple entendre. I mean, because it was his name. It was like a den for the Panthers, a place to talk about stuff. Keep Pound Den. So it had like 3 things. It was such a clever name.
I agree. I don't know.
Oh well. I mean, I know he had to add other people, but you just keep it the Den, and he started it. It gets to be named after him.
He also took a few episodes off and didn't host it, so that would have been weird.
That's all right. That happens in radio.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, those guys, I don't know how they keep doing it. Especially when you're not getting paid.
Well, they talk a lot of other stuff too.
Yeah, but just
they'll talk Bruins, they'll talk other things.
Oh, so he does Boston stuff?
I mean, he talks all sports to an extent.
Well, I think you almost have to if you're going to start doing sports talk radio. You just stick to one thing, and you want to keep going every week. Especially when you do it as often as they do.
Yeah. Hey, I have a feeling we're going to have a coach in the next week or two.
I have a feeling that's going to be they're going to have to, because they can't go too long.
And if they say Josh McDaniels, I'm calling shenanigans.
God.
All right. Well, I'm saying bye to the stream, and I'll say bye to you guys too.
All right, sounds good. Thank you guys.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Panthers News Blitz. Made with bits of real Panther, so you know it's good.
This is the Roaring Riot Podcast.
And now, of course, it's time for my final thought.